Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel for another Star Wars Battlefront II video. Today we are going to be doing something a little different and really just a video I wanted to make. After the Blasters Only HVV event a while back, where I was more or less forced into using heroes I rarely use, I started to really enjoy and reassess certain heroes I hadn't regularly played as in quite some time. Certain blaster heroes were much better than I remembered, because DICE has buffed them countless times over the past few months, while others had really started falling behind in the ranks as DICE has neglected them and allowed them to become completely outclassed by other heroes. So in today's video we'll be ranking every blaster hero from worst to best, mostly inspired by just how often I've been playing blaster heroes lately. If you guys do enjoy this type of video and would like to see more, be sure to let me know by leaving a like on this video. These uploads tend to take a long time to put together, but as long as you guys are enjoying them, I will keep making them. One last thing before we get into today's video, this upload is sponsored by Audible, who have been awesome enough to team up with me so I can bring you guys some totally free Star Wars stuff, and we'll talk a little bit more about that and what they are offering at the end of this video, so be sure to stick around for that. Alright, let's get into the ranking, beginning off with Leia. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. In my very first hero ranking video, if I remember correctly, Leia came in near the middle of the list. She was competitive but not a dominant hero. So what happened? Why has she fallen to our 9th position out of 9? Well, that is very easy to get to the bottom of, because while nearly every other hero in Battlefront 2 has received buff after buff after buff, Leia has pretty much been completely neglected by DICE other than a pretty hard nerf to her secondary fire a while back. As such, she has just completely fallen behind. I mean, think about it, many of the heroes that originally ranked lower or had problems near the launch of this game have just been made more and more powerful as this game has went along, to the point where some of them are now the best heroes Battlefront 2 has to offer. I mean, Finn, Phasma, Iden, Boba Fett, Kylo Ren, and Darth Maul are all nearly unrecognizable when you compare them to their original incarnations. In addition to that, 2 new lightsaber heroes were added to the light side, and because Leia is one of the only blaster heroes who has no way of damaging a blocking lightsaber hero, she runs into trouble with even more of them on the enemy roster. Maul was also given a block somewhat recently, and while Leia used to be able to absolutely shred Darth Maul, a good Maul can now just block as they close ground on her. I mean, what is she going to do, blind him and deal no damage with her flash grenade, and then what? Not very effective. Really, Leia has just fallen victim to rising power within this game. The other heroes became more powerful, while she was hit with a nerf and just left to slowly become less and less competitive. I'm not even mentioning the problem with her flash grenade and shield being 2 of the weakest hero abilities in the game. Both are easily in the bottom 5, and that is especially apparent in Heroes vs Villains, where they do very little to counter a good player, and honestly most of the time when I'm playing against a Leia, I think of her as just a free kill, unless she's just sitting at the back of a map out of reach spamming her secondary fire. At launch, she could make up for her shortcomings because her pistol and E11 are very good and still are, but now that most other heroes have become more powerful than I could possibly have imagined, that is no longer enough, and as such she takes our number 9 spot. Moving up to number 8, we have Chewbacca, who despite ranking at number 8, is a hero I've recently grown a weird appreciation for. Even after all of his nerfs, he has still remained a decent pick in HVV. His Furious Bowcaster deals a lot of damage to this day, and while a good opposing player can easily counter Chewbacca by exploiting his many weaknesses, he can still be very competitive in the right situation. However, the sticking point for Chewbacca has always been just how weak he is in Galactic Assault. His abilities are not suited for taking on multiple firing enemies at once. His standard bowcaster without the use of his middle ability is one of the weakest weapons in the game. I mean, it deals far less damage per second than many trooper weapons, and he just has no options for killing enemies at anything past close to medium range. Overall, he's just always been one of the easiest heroes to take out even as a trooper, and the amount of times I've killed a full health Chewbacca with Vanguard is almost comical. However, recently I've been using Chewbacca a lot in Galactic Assault, not because he is a practical choice, but because equipping his Charge Slam cards paired with his new damage reduction star card is just fun. I just love picking Chewie during phases that are mostly close quarters, and just charge slamming an area over and over again with heavy damage reduction. Combine that with saving your Shock Grenade and Furious Bowcaster to hunt heroes, and Chewie can just be a really fun choice, and honestly a good pick in a few situations. Some examples would be like Phase 2 and 3 Naboo, Phase 2 of Starkiller Base, and Phase 2 Kamino. Get Chewie in a situation like that and get ready to have some of the most fun you've ever had in a match. Take Chewie out in the open and get ready to never want to use him again, as you get absolutely melted. Anyway, Chewie's not really horrible. I mean, in the right hands, literally any hero can be good, especially with how mind-bogglingly bad most enemies online are, but he definitely isn't quite as good or versatile as the upcoming heroes, and when compared to the top 4 or so, it's not even close. Coming in at number 7, we have Captain Phasma, a hero that is so incredibly dominant in some situations, yet in others she's easily one of the least helpful hero picks in all of Battlefront 2. Let's start off with what Phasma has going for her. First off, she can tank an insane amount of damage when using her 2 Survivor Star cards, which is absolutely great. Her turret is also very powerful in the right situations, and as of the latest update, she can pick it up and move it around, something I've been asking for a very long time. When you put Phasma in a tight area where her team will sit with her and camp, that team in HVV is going to be borderline unbeatable. However, most games are not going to go that way. Most teammates are just going to rush in like chickens with their head cut off, leaving you with 2 options. One is just sit on your droid and just wait around, which usually results in you getting frustrated and switching to option 2, which is rush in with your teammates, be aggressive wherever they decided to start fighting, which usually is going to be out in an open area, and just set your droid down and commence. And in those situations, Phasma is just okay. She is easily countered when out in the open, and because she can tank so much damage, she'll still do okay. Also worth mentioning, her staff strikes are much better than they used to be, but still a rather unreliable hero ability. With Phasma, it's just weird. After all the buffs, there's really no situation she's absolutely horrible in. I'd say in most she's just okay, and in certain places she excels, but if you get a team that will sit on your droid and camp, yeah, she is great. Even if you're just facing a dumb team that runs into your droid again and again, you don't even need your teammates to do extremely well. However, that does require stupid enemies that don't even attempt to counter your droid in the many ways it can be destroyed or separated from you. Camping is probably my least favorite way to play in any game. I just love to be aggressive, but it definitely doesn't take away from how good she can be on those occasions that work in her favor. At number 6, we have Finn, who is the ultimate support hero. Equipped with Big Deal, which offers extra health, damage reduction, and an extremely quick ability recharge rate, Finn is absolutely insane for helping his team hold an objective. Honestly, I don't really even have much to say about Finn. In my personal opinion, he is one of the most boring heroes to play in Battlefront 2, even if he really excels at only one thing, and I mean, he even has a star card called Born to Do One Thing, and that's pretty accurate, because the one thing he was born to do is supporting a team in a choke point. In HVV, he's kind of a joke against lightsaber heroes. He is great for shutting down Palpatine and Boba Fett, but the majority of the time that Boba or Palpatine player is just going to switch to a lightsaber hero, who Finn has no way of breaking their block or damaging them through that block. He ranks at number 6 and above some others on today's list, because while he does have a lot of situations where he's one of the worst possible choices, there are many choke points in Battlefront 2 where an even somewhat decent Finn can turn the tide of an entire match single-handedly, and for that alone he secures our number 6 position. Coming in at our number 5 spot, we have Lando Calrissian, who is a hero that is still very good, yet isn't what he once was. Lando's Sharp Shot, which is one of the few abilities that can kill every single infantry class in one shot, is still incredible of course. Passive health on kill helped Lando more than most, just due to his excellent selection of star cards, and overall in Galactic Assault he is in the best place he has ever been. In Heroes vs Villains, well, Lando is still good, but definitely not the best. Lando used to be the ultimate killing machine in HVV. His stun lasted for such an absurd amount of time that even if a smart player dodged part of Lando's stun by just jumping out before he detonated it, Lando would still have the time to kill most stunned heroes from full health after they landed. However, after they nerfed his Disabler's active stun time, dodging Lando's Disabler by jumping as a Force user almost completely misses the shock, as by the time the enemy lands, they only have maybe a fifth of a second before they are freed. That means that Lando is going to have very little time to inflict any damage before they are on him, and then he is a little helpless at times. Lando's Disabler is just so incredibly easy to dodge, because unlike other stuns in this game, Lando has to first deploy his Disabler before detonation, which makes his timing very easy to predict in a lot of cases. Honestly, I still do pretty well as Lando in every mode. He's just still a solid hero. I just don't think he's quite at the level of the upcoming heroes on today's list. Moving into the top 4, which is where I would begin to classify the remaining heroes as top tier, we have Iden Versio, who is a hero I've always really enjoyed using, even when she used to be really bad at the launch of this game. After many buffs and fixes, Iden is just awesome. Her TL50 is devastating to heroes when you land headshots, her secondary fire is one of the most effective ways of scoring easy kills in Battlefront 2, while also being one of the greatest tools for keeping enemies out of an objective by offering suppressive fire with a very generous area of effect. Her shock droid is excellent. Even after the recharge time nerf, it's still a very useful ability that can end a hero in mere seconds, and utilizing her shield can make Iden near invincible if you just play smart and hang back, and then keep some distance between yourself and lightsaber heroes. And if I'm being honest, Iden is just one of the most fun heroes to use in Battlefront 2, while also being among the most effective. If they hadn't nerfed her secondary fire and droid recharge rate over the past few updates, she probably would have ranked just a little higher, but because of those setbacks, she comes in at a very respectable number 4. At number 3, we have Boba Fett, and honestly, using Boba Fett is almost like playing Battlefront 2 with cheats on, because his jetpack just makes him that dang good in open areas. I feel almost unkillable on console because most players cannot aim to save their lives, and his in-air recovery, which was added a few months back, makes him pretty much untouchable to lightsaber heroes, so long as you are playing smart and know his movement style. For the Hunt is excellent for revealing enemies, Rocket Barrage is devastating as it always has been, and the only reason Boba Fett isn't number 2 or 1 is because indoors, there are much better options, and also his concussion rocket is a total joke, and gets my vote for the worst hero ability in Battlefront 2. Still, Boba has become one of the very best heroes in Battlefront 2, certainly one of the easiest to stay alive as, and for those reasons he takes home the number 3 spot on today's list. Alright, when you think of the most iconic characters in Star Wars history, who do you think of? Most casual fans are going to think of Luke Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Darth Vader, and Yoda, or other characters similar to that. The next time you watch a new Star Wars movie in the theaters, go up and ask a random person what they think of Bossk, and more than likely you are going to be met with a blank stare. The guy has 3 seconds of screen time in The Empire Strikes Back, yet he is one of the most powerful and best designed heroes in all of Battlefront 2. Bossk, who to your average Star Wars fan and Battlefront player is just that weird lizard guy on the dark side, is one of the best picks in the entire game for disposing of even the most powerful of light side heroes. Bossk has always just been perfect. His Relby is the best sniper in the game, his trip mines are incredibly powerful, and when combined with his Dioxis make holding an objective almost too easy, and using his Predator instincts on an unsuspecting group is one of the most satisfying things you can do on the battlefront. Combine all of that with his ability to regenerate all of his health at any time without requiring kills, and you have a recipe for a hero that is ranked within the top 3 of every single hero ranking I have ever done, and like I mentioned previously, with how much nearly every hero within Battlefront 2 has drastically improved, that is extremely impressive. He would have taken our number 1 spot if it weren't for what DICE did to his jump 2 updates ago, which is annoying and I believe is going to be reverted rather soon. Still, Bossk is excellent and extremely well-rounded. And now, let's move on to the hero who takes home the gold, and that hero is Han Solo. Honestly, I am going to keep this rank short. Han has the best blaster in Battlefront 2 by a huge margin, his Detonite charge is in the running for the best hero ability in the game, and his shoulder charge gives him an easy means of escape, as well as damaging through blocks when you need to. Really, the main draw for Han is his DL-44, it's easily the best blaster by any measure, and it's honestly not even close. The lower health heroes can be killed in just 4 shots, and every class but heavy is going to go down in just 1 to the dome. I could gush about how great Han Solo is all day, but I will spare you and just say if you've been sleeping on Han because he feels a little fragile at first, cut it out and get working on that aim. With all of that said, thank you all so much for watching, and I want to give a big thank you to Audible for sponsoring this video, and I've teamed up with them to bring you a pretty awesome promotion. By signing up using my link in the description below, you will be able to get yourself 3 free audiobooks completely free of charge, and luckily for you guys, Audible has a huge selection of Star Wars audiobooks, which are great for listening to at any time on your phone, PC, or whatever. There are over 100 Star Wars audiobooks to choose from, and if you sign up for free using the link in the description, or by typing in audibletrial.com/Battlefront Knight, you will be able to pick whichever one you like completely free of charge, plus 2 more Audible originals on top of that. One Star Wars selection I would specifically recommend is a novelization of Revenge of the Sith. If Episode 3 is one of your favorites, which it is one of mine, the Revenge of the Sith novelization is just filled with tons of information left out of the movie, and while I won't spoil it, it just goes much further into Anakin's motivations for turning to the dark side. Audible also has Kenobi, which is another favorite of mine, which tells the story of Obi-Wan's transformation into Old Ben on Tatooine. If you are a fan of the sequel trilogy and excited for Episode 9, you can also grab Resistance Reborn, which tells the story leading up to the rise of Skywalker, and I know a lot of fans are excited for that one. To claim your 3 free audiobooks, just click the link in the description below, or go to audibletrial.com/Battlefront Knight and sign up for free with no obligation, and if you decide to cancel, you will get to keep your 3 audiobooks you choose, completely free of charge. I will say though, Audible is awesome, and keeping a subscription is absolutely worth it. Once again, thank you all so much for watching, and thanks to Audible for sponsoring this upload, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.